Hey everyone, Sumo Spiffy here. Welcome to some sweet late basho commentary on Aki 2023. I wanted to do this after day 10, but life got in the way, and hey, now we have more to talk about. But let's start with the big news coming out of day 10, Takayasu's health. What happened, and how's he look after another day of competition? Well, it's not great. Going into day 10, Papa Bear versus the Cyborg Child was a hype matchup, and a good battle for as long as it lasted. But then Takayasu went for a pulldown. Here it looks normal, a moment later, it's anything but. His feet should be moving back, and they're just not listening. I came across a couple Discord comments wondering if he was concussed. It's hard to find a good angle on the moment of contact, but even though their heads touched, there's nothing to suggest anything like concussive force was involved. This is a man whose left leg said, "I don't wanna," at the worst possible time. His left foot touches down because gravity, but when he falls, he reflexively brings his left leg up rather than fully collapsing. Once the fight's over, he immediately reaches for his lower left back. If he pulled a muscle, had a spasm, anything like that in that area, it could very easily lead to the disjointed movement that occurred instead of his intended pulldown. He even points the injury out to his attendant coming off the dohyo, which was after he clearly limped back to his position and nodded rather than bowed before leaving. He seemed to have decent push with the leg against Daisho, but it wasn't the same. Likewise, he didn't leave the dohyo as gingerly as the day before, but he was gimping around a bit. So even though he's still tied for second in the Yusho race, it's hard to see him as a genuine contender anymore. With that said, let's take a look at the leaders and how things might play out from here. We have the Atami 2600 leading, of course, with the Battle Hamster, Papa Bear, and Old Man Yorikiri 2 wins behind. Atami and Takayasu having Kachikoshis and lead contender status got him shot up to the Sanyaku ranks for day 11. Atami should stay there now, whereas Takayasu could drop back to facing Maegashira opponents if he falls more clearly out of contention. Beyond that, Takakeisho gets Kotsunawaka as part of the normal Sanyaku rotation, and Tsurugisho gets Ura. That last one might look weird, but it's really just a quirk of sumo scheduling. Lesson time! When the day 12 schedule was made, Tsurugisho was in a group with 4 other guys at 7 and 3, which means they're all viewed the same way when it comes to making matchups. Takakeisho is in the Sanyaku, and Kotsunawaka is a suitable opponent, so they kept that fight. Hokuto Fuji and Onosho were both 7 and 3, so they got put together. Endo and Tsurugisho would have fought, but they're stablemates, so that wasn't possible. That meant they had to face 6 and 4 opponents at best. Because they don't have 8 wins yet, they're not getting stuck against the Sanyaku, which eliminates those options. Abi was the next 6 and 4, so he got Endo. Ganoyama could have fought Tsurugisho, but Hoshoryu needed to face him as part of his ozeki schedule. Tsurugisho already fought Kinbozan, Mitakeumi, and Myogiryu, which left Hokuseiho as the only 6 and 4 option. It would have been fine if they made that matchup, but the committee decided a more suitable test would be a higher ranked 5 and 5, which ended up being Ura. Since Ura lost, it looks weird because they're sticking a contender against a Maegashira opponent with a losing record, but the process worked pretty normally. So what happens from here? Before day 11, Atami Fuji had a clear lead but a tough schedule staring him down. The schedule is not any easier. After Daisho, I think he'll fight Takakeisho on day 13, and then some mix of Kotsunawaka, Wakamoto Haru, and Kirishima. But with Onosho's stunning loss to Myogiryu, Endo's Slippy Otoshi defeat against Ganoyama, Takayasu's injury, and Tsurugisho having gotten his ass beat in May when he had to fight Sanyaku opponents, Takakeisho's the only plausible contender. And Keisho's schedule is just as hard. After Atami pulled off what might have been Sumo's first Uwatanage powerbomb, the idea of him finishing at least 2 and 2 and guaranteeing himself a playoff is a lot more realistic. And if none of the 8 and 3s run the table, that's a clean Yusho for him. In other news, if figuring out which guys are going to move between Makuuchi and Juryo interests you, oh boy, the Juryo guys with a chance of promotion are making their own lives awfully difficult. There are plenty of spots opening up as well. Hakuoho's being demoted due to his injury absence, Daishoho's already going down, and Chiyoshima would need both 4 straight wins and a ranking miracle to save his spot. Beyond them, Kageyaki and Big Dan will be demotable with anything less than 3 wins in their last 4 matches. The least popular Kodo was on shaky ground for a minute, but now he just needs 2 wins in 4 to guarantee safety, so he should be okay. Still, we have at least 3 openings and a reasonable chance at 5. A lot of the Juryo guys who could take advantage, though, are slipping. Tomokaze and Shiranoumi both went down on day 11. They still only need 2 wins to be in line for promotion, but they haven't met yet, and Tomokaze hasn't faced Onosato, so it's not a fait accompli for either just yet. Still, they're in mathematically decent shape. Rogue is at the top of the division, which means he only needs to finish 8-7, but after getting his chest bashed in by Shimizu Umi's face, he's 5-6 and needs a strong finish to get there. Mitoryu, Tohakuryu, and Bushozan also need 3 wins out of 4. That's 6 guys with a chance, but also 6 guys who could fall apart and not get there. The only one who looks like an actual, no doubt promotion, in fact, is Ichi Yamamoto all the way down at Juryo 7. He's 10-1, so mathematically he only needs 1 more win. Even if you'd like to see 2 to guarantee the promotion, he's probably got the most beatable schedule of anyone mentioned. The only guys currently with 7 wins or more that he hasn't faced are Oshoma and Tohakuryu, and given some of his scalps so far, he should be able to handle those guys. Anything can happen on a given day, but it's hard to see him finishing worse than 13-2 unless he clinches the Yusho and takes it easy on himself after that. Last note. Given the chatter about an ozeki curse, I looked up how often guys jump up to ozeki and then have a losing record. This list goes back to 1958. I left anyone with 0 wins out to make sure the list only included guys who fought in that first basho after promotion. Only 3 guys in the last 65 years have had a losing record without any Kyujo losses. And as for Takanonami, it wasn't even his first run as an ozeki. He dipped to Sekiwake, got the 10 wins to come back up, and then had a losing record. So, only twice has someone healthy enough to fight all 15 matches in their first ozeki basho had a losing record. And Hoshoryu is hardly guaranteed to be the third. Considering his win against Takano Sho and a really good chance at another win against Ganoyama, he could very plausibly get to 6-6 and finish his Kachikoshi from there. There's no ozeki curse. Hoshoryu just hasn't done that well so far. Alright, that's it for our over 2/3 done commentary on Aki 2023. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.